Hello, guys. I am Shane Davis, 20-year comic veteran. I'm here with Yanzi Lin, and today is the day we are talking about the decimated American comic book industry once again, but in an interesting way. This is in response to some comments that was on our last video. We had a retailer come in with some I don't know,
business advice, I would say.
constructive criticism.
All right, so let's look at what his advice is. I don't understand why you're not breaking down these stories after the campaigns are done and shipped into 2 or 3 issues and putting them out in the market for people to find at an introductory price point. Then you should be using those issues to advertise your next campaign. I can promise you that a large majority of your fans who support the Indiegogo campaigns would buy the comics from retailers for the new covers, and new people can discover the property. All right, straight away, there's a major flaw in this argument, and that is you are somehow implying that there are more people who walk into a comic store then there will be people who will walk onto the internet and find Inglorious Rex.
Right. And before we get into all that, please hit like, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. The reason why this is coming up now is Inglorious Rex is officially bound and is supposed to be shipping out Monday. I should be receiving it by Wednesday, and that I'm going straight into fulfillment. So now it's a perfect time for people to come up and tell me what to do with my book after I've crowdfunded it, after I've negotiated with printers, and I've put it together, after I wrote this book, after I drew this book. You know, a labor, 9 lives comics, guys. This is where it's at. Of course, a retailer, after I've already funded it and I've cultivated an audience for it, why not run up to me and tell me that I now need to put it in your store? Look, first off, I like retailers. I'm not against them at all. I'm really not. And would I like my book to be in a comic shop? Sure. But I'm writing a graphic novel, period. I'm not writing single issues. And you can't just take a graphic novel, something that's built for a graphic novel, and breaking up into single issues, trying to become a Marvel DC model where their sales are crumbling. Basically, because there's an integrity to the story and the product. I can't just compromise the pacing or the reveals, the page turns, and all of that just because it would suit someone for me to try to plug the hole that is the sinking ship of Marvel and DC. Look, I do think retailers should back Inglorious Rex. We do offer a retail tier where you get a 20% discount if you buy in bulk. And, you know, you are able to make a profit from that book. Now, realistically, I cannot compete with the price breaks that Marvel and DC do because I'm not a company that can eat losses because I have a She-Hulk TV show up on my streaming service. So holding me to the standards of Marvel and DC, I am a little guy here, you know, with a fan base that is willing to support me, and I appreciate my fans. I appreciate my fans so much that I can't put retailers above my fans. That's just the truth. That the people who support me, they have to come first. This started to spill into a lot of other things. This conversation goes on to Twitter, and some good points are coming up about, you know, the use of the internet and selling comics.
Let's look at it. Eric July here weighs in, telling us about the retailers. They are trying to apply an older, archaic model to you and yours. You have proven that it works for you and your customers, and you shouldn't be expected to go through the motions just because what you're doing isn't traditional. Hey, does anyone remember when people were saying, hey, Eric July didn't go through the channels, he didn't go through from Image to DC to Marvel before he finally made his own book, obviously, so he's not legitimate. So these are the same geniuses we're arguing against at this point.
And there's a couple of different ways you can look at this. One, Eric sidestepped, and myself, anybody who's crowdfunding or going straight to customers, however you want to put it, selling direct to customers, they're sidestepping a lot of hands out. A lot of people who are kind of gatekeepers, which would be Marvel, DC, whatever publisher. And then there's the distribution, even if you're going through Image. All of these people are gatekeepers, and they all have like a tax to pay. When I did extend to Image Comics, and this is true, I'm going to spill some beans here. Image Comics had a standard, if I did a variant cover, that was a standard $1,200 fee just for me to have the option of a plate change for a cover. Standard fee through Image Comics. What I've discovered since publishing myself is a plate change fee can sometimes be free or anywhere between $400 to $700. So obviously Image Comics was taking, for me, let's say at $600, a $600 goes in my pocket. I'm Eric Stevenson tax. And this was across the board for everybody who published through Image Comics. And that's what it's like when you deal in the direct market, or you deal with a publisher or a distributor or something like that, is they're going to line their pockets. That makes it harder for me to build a better product. Through crowdfunding, I'm able to give people basically a pack of trading cards, free magnets, 3 magnets, and 2 stickers, because I'm able to take my profits and reinvest into cool things for my backers, the better the campaign does. Now, I don't want to get too far off the point here, because Eric July brings up, like, this starts turning into a tweet chain where I'm actually bringing up a point in a retweet of Eric's that what if the internet is the new newsstand? Now, what does that mean? Let's get into it.
So someone here says to Eric, surely if people see ISOM on bookshelves, they'll check it out of curiosity. And Eric replies, no, especially considering that many of my customers have admitted that ISOM was their introduction to me. But I'm not preventing any retailers from buying ISOM as is, but I certainly won't break it up in 20-page issues for the sake of getting on bookshelves.
Right. And I'm going to bring that up for a second. If ISOM's a huge hit and Eric July breaks it up and it comes out, it's hand pieced out monthly, what Eric's actually doing is driving people into the shop more times. Why does a retailer want that? Because there's chances are you're not going to go all the way to a comic book shop just to buy one comic. Okay. Some comic shops won't even let you, unless you buy $10 worth, they won't even take your credit card for a small fee, like $4.99 or something like that, or $6. So this is why retailers want these books busted up into multiple issues, because in theory, they're going to sell multiple comics. Marvel and DC stuff, things that they normally can't sell. That's a reality behind retailers.
So let's look at what Eric here has to say. Eric the Guapo replies to Eric July, I wonder how long will it last if there are no normies being exposed to it, in reference to crowdfunded comics. So Eric replies, I don't think the shops are the primary source for normie exposure. The internet is. Our retailer friend obviously made a very good point. Like, yeah, all these people would love to buy your book, but it's like, okay, how do you find out about our book? Oh, you find out about it through the internet. So there you go.
Right. I'm going to emphasize this point. Again, I feel like the internet could be the new newsstand for comics for a couple of reasons. If you look back at what the newsstand was, it's in its name, newspapers. People went to go buy their newspaper. There was a comic. Then maybe they had a kid. Well, the kid can't read a newspaper. Here's a comic, or adults were buying the comics. Whatever, nobody really knows, but it worked. It worked so well. Magazine publishing, all of this stuff. People go to the internet now for their news. So, and if you're a person telling you run a YouTube channel like Eric does successfully, like you're watching this video right now, I'm doing, why not back Inglorious Rex? It's the sign up is live. You see what I did there? Just go sign up. We're launching, looking like October 16th. So is what we're looking at. So please go sign up. You see what I did just there? That's something that is very unique right now. It's the new newsstand. So before we get too far off the point here, I'm going to emphasize this a little bit more. This is very much true. I actually think the internet is what's driving people to the comic shops. I'm going to tell you why. Bisexual Superman, clickbait. Everybody's talking about it on the internet. Maybe that if there's a boost in sales, it's because people heard about it on the internet. Gay Spider-Man, things like this that you see Marvel and DC doing with their characters. Like, why are they destroying their characters? They're destroying the characters because they're trying to fight for relevance on the internet. That's it. Because maybe, and this is a big turning point for the American comic book industry, the internet is your advertisement. And putting out preview pages of 60 Marvel books a month isn't advertising. Putting out the first 3 pages of every Marvel book times 60 every month or something like that. That's really not advertising. And honestly, like we've seen books at Marvel be canceled because they can't sell 13,000 copies of an X-Men book, but then it's being illegally downloaded like almost 500,000 times. So the internet is the place where people are, they're there. They will ingest comics. They will buy comics. I think Eric July successfully proved this. I think people like Ethan Van Sciver have successfully proved this. The reality is people, the comic industry, I don't know if they can adapt to it. It's because there's a big generation gap, one, and I feel like there's not a lot of a young generation of talented people that really want to invest their time in the American comic book craft, because it's such an abusive field with work for hire agreements, family suing, creators getting taken advantage of left and right, getting no payback for anything. So a lot of people, I don't think they ever saw working and making comics as something they wanted to do. And, you know, and the people that are, it's like, here's the thing. I don't think it's ever going to be as simple as just making a comic book ever again. I think it's going to have to be, get out there, build a channel, promote your book, promote your product, and sell really well. And look, I'm not against Inglorious Rex being in comic shops. I'm just going to put that out there. I'm really not, but I'm not going to compromise the product to do that. And I'm also not going to sidestep my backers either. Like, they come first. And that's our stance at Nine Lives Comics. Now, if retailers do want to buy a retail pack, we do offer them. Like we did, we sold several in our last campaign, and retailers will get those packs. And if they can sell them at price or markup, whatever, and we'll do so continuingly with Inglorious Rex too. So, you know, that is the thing. But anyways, guys, if you guys will, please let us know what you think on this subject, because there's a lot of comments flying around in the previous video. And, you know, on Twitter, I'd like to hear people's thoughts. Is the internet the new newsstand? And I will leave you guys with a quick little video turnaround of our miniature for Inglorious Rex 2. We should be getting the trailer up for this campaign next week. And like I said, the books are coming in, and we're hoping to be actually putting some out in the mail probably Thursday or Friday of next week. So hopefully you guys are at the top of the list and you'll get yours first. Please hit like, subscribe, ring the bell for notification, and we'll catch you guys again with another video.